In the draft of 2022 state budget, the government is having a huge concern on the continuance of COVID-19 pandemic. Local computer producer Zarexindo Mandiri Buana with Stokot ZYRX received a laptop purchase contract agreement from the government. Hello, good evening viewers. Market Headlines is ready to provide you a number of informations from business, economic and capital market sectors. And as the pandemic is still ongoing, we provide you the latest COVID-19 information, and please stay safe by taking some simple precautions such as physical distancing, wearing a face mask, avoiding crowds, cleaning your hands and having less mobility. With me, Wicky Adrian, this is Market Headlines. In the draft of 2022 state budget, the government is having a huge concern on the continuance of COVID-19 pandemic. President Joko Widodo said the 2022 state budget must be managed responsibly and cautiously.
Kita juga harus bersiap menghadapi tantangan global lainnya, seperti ancaman perubahan iklim, peningkatan dinamika geopolitik, serta pemulihan ekonomi global yang tidak merata. Karena itu, APBN tahun 2022 harus antisipatif, harus responsif, dan fleksibel merespon ketidakpastian. Namun, tetap mencerminkan optimisme dan kehati-hatian.
Minister of SOE Erick Thohir emphasized that the government is currently accelerating the process of procuring a national vaccine under the name Merah Putih. According to Erick, the acceleration of the vaccine procurement must be carried out immediately so that Indonesia does not depend on imported vaccines.
The Minister of State-Owned Enterprises, Erick Thohir, emphasized that the production of a national vaccine known as the Merah Putih vaccine, which is currently still being worked on, could be completed in May 2022 at the earliest. Erick himself did not mention in detail the progress of the procurement of the vaccine. He said the presence of the Merah Putih vaccine was a concrete step for the government to break dependence on imported vaccines. The imported vaccines that have entered include Sinovac from China, AstraZeneca from England, and Moderna from the United States.
Dan tentu kita tidak akan terus bergantung pada vaksin impor. Nah, karena itu kembali seperti yang disampaikan tadi pimpinan Komisi 6, sahabat saya Pak Faisal Riza, di mana BUMN pun sekarang ditugaskan untuk melakukan program vaksin merah putih. Jadi vaksin buatan Indonesia yang insya Allah itu bulan Mei akan terlaksana lah. Insya Allah kita coba bekerja keras sehingga kita tidak tergantung lagi dengan vaksin impor.
On the other hand, Erick ensures the availability of vaccine stocks in the country until December 2021. The reason is that in September, Indonesia will again receive millions of vaccine doses. From Probolinggo, Gilang Praditya for IDX Channel.
The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources revealed that up to now, the use of new and renewable energy has only reached 2.5% of the total potential of 400 gigawatts. For this reason, the government will boost the use of renewable energy, especially pursuing the energy mix target of 20% or 23% by 2025.
Minister of Energy and Mineral Resources Arifin Tasrif said that Indonesia's use of new renewable energy is still very low, whereas the potential in Indonesia reaches 400 gigawatts. The largest renewable energy is contributed by solar power of more than 200 gigawatts, followed by hydropower, bioenergy, geothermal, and oceanic. However, until now, the use of renewable energy in Indonesia is only 2.5%. For this reason, Indonesia is committed to continuing to innovate on renewable energy that is more environmentally friendly. One of them is the Solar Power Initiative Movement Program to optimize the use of rooftop solar power plants where its utilization has the greatest potential and is inexpensive.
Saat ini pemanfaatan EBT baru mencapai 2,5% dari total potensi. Ini yang harus kita kejar pemanfaatannya. Dari berbagai jenis EBT tersebut, pembangkit listrik tenaga surya akan lebih didorong dan mendominasi, mengingat potensinya paling besar dan harganya semakin kompetitif.
Currently, the solar rooftop installed capacity is only 31 megawatts out of a total potential of around 32 gigawatts. From Jakarta, Ade Firmansyah for IDX Channel.
Moving on to global update, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi said in a speech that a $1.35 trillion national infrastructure plan to be launched. Meanwhile, from entertainment industry, Free Guy, an action comedy starring Ryan Reynolds, opened better than expected, collecting an estimated $28.4 million in ticket sales. More stories on today's International Minute.
India will launch a major infrastructure plan to boost the economy and aim at 100% coverage of development schemes, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said in the speech. Modi said a $1.35 trillion national infrastructure plan to boost manufacturing and employment. However, there was criticism on Indian social media as well as from opposition activists that the government had made similar infrastructure plan announcement in the past. Tesla founder and chief executive Elon Musk said on Friday that he hopes to start producing cars at its new factory outside Berlin in October. The U.S. company had originally planned to begin manufacturing its electric cars at the Gigafactory in Grünheide, east of the German capital, in July. But legal challenges and problems getting official permits have delayed the project. The death toll from a 7.2 magnitude earthquake in Haiti climbed to 1,297 on Sunday, a day after the powerful trembler turned thousands of structures into rubble and set off frantic rescue efforts ahead of potential deluge from the approaching storm. Saturday's earthquake also left at least 5,700 people injured in the Caribbean nations, with thousands more displaced from their destroyed or damaged homes. Free Guy, an action comedy starring Ryan Reynolds as a background character in a video game, opened better than expected over the weekend, collecting an estimated $28.4 million in ticket sales, despite a marketplace challenged by COVID-19. After a few weeks of declining audiences, an underwhelming debut amid the Delta variant surge, Free Guy succeeded with an old-school formula. IDX Channel reports.
Market headlines will be right back after the break. Stay tuned.
Ingin menjalani kehidupan yang mapan dan masa depan yang sejahtera? Sikapi uang dengan bijak. Mulailah berinvestasi di pasar modal. Dengan membeli saham melalui Bursa Efek maupun perusahaan sekuritas, Anda dapat menikmati hasil keuntungan dari perusahaan-perusahaan besar yang tersedia. Pastikan Anda berinvestasi di perusahaan yang memiliki izin resmi, cerdas mengelola, masa depan sejahtera. Otoritas Jasa Keuangan, lembaga pengawas industri jasa keuangan yang terpercaya.
Proses penilaian IDX Channel Anugerah Inovasi melihat beberapa indikator, diantaranya adalah dampak dari inovasi terhadap perusahaan, kemudian sustainability, mampu terapan perusahaan, serta kita melihat dari sisi originalitas dari ide itu. Pemenang-pemenang dari ajang ini tidak berhenti untuk melakukan inovasi, melainkan terus mendorong inovasi itu untuk selalu menjadi yang terbaik, selalu menjadi yang terbaru, dan untuk mengantisipasi perubahan yang ada di dalam lingkungan bisnis.
IDX Channel Anugerah Inovasi Indonesia 2021, Kamis pukul 8 malam. IDX Channel Anugerah Inovasi Indonesia 2021 besok.
Target kita di kuartal kedua atas 7%.
Welcome back. Along with the implementation of the COVID-19 vaccination certificate as a requirement to access public facilities, epidemiologists consider the government's policy to be a real form of injustice for those who cannot be vaccinated for health reasons or because of limited vaccine stocks.
The COVID-19 vaccine certificate in Indonesia has now become like a super card because it is a requirement for citizens to access public services such as public transportation to shopping centers. However, epidemiologists assess the government's policy as a real form of social injustice because it doesn't side with those who cannot be vaccinated because of comorbid disease or out of stock of vaccines. The central government claims that this policy has accommodated various inputs from many parties and experts, and those who have comorbidities can still carry out their activities by attaching a doctor's certificate. Previously, Coordinating Minister for Maritime Affairs and Investment Luhut Binsar Panjaitan said the vaccine card would be a requirement for the public to be able to access public places. The vaccine card policy would be piloted from August 10 to 16, 2021 in 4 cities, namely Jakarta, Bandung, Surabaya, and Semarang. IDX Channel report.
The government has started requiring COVID-19 vaccine certificates for workers and the public who want to access public facilities. Which regions have declared to implement this policy? The answer is in the next graphic, or this is the first graphic to be exact. Vaccination certificate is requirement. If you're in Jakarta, you need to show your vaccine certificate if you want to go to traditional market and supermarket. If you want to go to restaurants, the same requirement also need to be fulfilled, and then shopping centers and also malls. Meantime, for Yogyakarta, if you want to go to Malioboro, you need to show your vaccination certificate and other tourist areas. Regarding this policy, the government said that the public can download the COVID-19 vaccine certificate on the Peduli Lindungi application launched by the Ministry of Communication and Information. Even so, vaccine certificate regulations need to be balanced with access to more adequate vaccines. The government must ensure the availability and distribution of vaccines so that it is easier for the public to reach them. For example, on the spot in public facilities or in all health services. So how far is the progress of the implementation of vaccination in Indonesia? The data is in the next graphic. This is COVID-19 vaccination in Indonesia as of August 15, 2021 by 6 p.m. The vaccination target as much as 208,265,720 doses targeted to be vaccinated to people. Meantime, first dose vaccination reached 25.78%, and the second dose vaccination so far only reached 13.5%. The government targets to inject 2 million doses per day. In order to achieve this target, the government has prepared several strategies, including determining a number of priority areas in the vaccination program, which are based on the level of regional risk. Vaccination is preferred for areas with a high rate of confirmed cases and death. In parallel, efforts to accelerate are also carried out by ensuring the availability of vaccines. In addition, the government is also trying to speed up the distribution process by involving the military and police. However, a number of obstacles were encountered in the implementation of vaccination. For more details, let's move to the next graphic. These are the obstacles in implementing vaccination. 29.4% of the people that included to the survey, they say that information ambiguity and don't believe in COVID-19, 26.3%, uneven distribution, 17.3%, limited health facilities, 11.2%, limited health workers, 7.5%, and don't know or don't answer as much as 8.3%. We compiled the data from Carta Politika. Vaccine distribution also has its own problem, one of which was stated by the governor of West Java, Ridwan Kamil, who proposed that the provinces have greater authority in regulating the distribution of vaccines to districts or cities so that they are more targeted, effective, and efficient. On the other hand, rumors of vaccinations and their side effects have resulted in some residents still being reluctant to do so. And then, does vaccination one of Indonesia's economic growth drivers? Let's see the data on the next graphic. This is government's projection on Indonesia's economic growth. The surge in cases of Delta variant of COVID-19 threatens economic growth in the third quarter. It is estimated that in the third quarter we'll experience a decline due to tightening mobility or PPKM emergency, and the government believes that in the fourth quarter there will be a reversal of economic growth. The implementation of the emergency PPKM is expected to suppress economic growth in the third quarter. However, coordinating Minister for the Economy Erlangga Hartarto said that the government's strategy to maintain economic growth at a positive level is to increase government spending. The absorption of the government's budget must be accelerated and will be maintained so that it can become a driving force for the economy. Growth will also be driven by the certainty of ease of doing business, including through the job creation law. Hopefully, all the efforts made in dealing with the pandemic and restoring the economy can run in harmony and sustainability. Stay tuned on Market Headlines because we'll be right back after the break.
Presiden Joko Widodo memiliki optimisme yang tinggi terkait dengan proses vaksinasi nasional yang sedang dilakukan saat ini. Bagaimana tanggapan dari pengusaha dengan angka ini?
Tentu membuat kita harus lebih berhati-hati.
Langkah apa yang tepat dilakukan untuk bisa meningkatkan pemahaman masyarakat?
Komunikasi publik adalah kunci. Jadi kita harus bisa menunjukkan kepada masyarakat bahwa vaksinasi itu penting.
Ajang adu inovasi spektakuler. Ratusan perusahaan hebat di Indonesia untuk percepatan pemulihan ekonomi. IDX Channel Anugerah Inovasi Indonesia 2021. Kamis pukul 8 malam.
Aku akan tunjukkan untuk kalian semua, aku nggak perlu membalas, tapi you see me, let's see, you see me, let's see, you can see me soon, what I'm doing.
Nah, sejauh ini kritikan terpedas yang pernah diterima apa, Kak?
Kayak gini, aku pernah gini, narimu jelek, gak bagus, apa sih, kamu jadi penari kayak begitu, aku udah pernah yang kayak gitu.
Welcome back. At the Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement earlier today, JCI was opened at the level of 6,144.94. Then approaching the closing time out of a session, the index was on the level of 6,076.64. Then the index was showing weakening trend by the second session closing time. Index was closed at the level of 6,087.91. In short, JCI went down 0.84%. Next, we're going to see the sectoral movement leading the dynamics of today's trading week. Got technology sector went down 5.38%. Transportation and logistics sector went down 2.64%. Energy sector went down 0.18%. And property sector went down 0.16%. Moving on to top gainers and top losers, here are the key highlights from today's trading session. BBKP went up 5.04% to level of 625 rupiah per share. BBCA went up 0.16% to level of 32,100 rupiah per share. Bank went up 2.19% to level of 3,730 rupiah per share. And NICL went up 28.91% to level of 165 rupiah per share. Meantime, the top losers for today's trading, we got Buka went down 6.81% to the level of 890 rupiah per share. Arto went down 2.93% to the level of 131 rupiah per share. Friend went down 5.76% to the level of 131 rupiah per share, and BBYB went down 6.71% to the level of 1,530 rupiah per share. And this is the intraday movement of rupiah towards US dollar. As you can see in your screen, opened at the level of 14,387 rupiah, was also showing strengthening trend towards US dollar, was close at the level of 14,335 rupiah. In summary, rupiah went up 0.49%. Local computer producer Zarexindo Mandiri Buana with a stock code ZYRX received a laptop purchase contract agreement from the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology. The number of laptops will be produced by 2 companies.
Laptop producer Zarexindo Mandiri Buana with a stock code of ZYRX received a laptop purchase contract agreement from the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology. This contract was obtained by Zarexindo from 2 of the company's distributors, namely Intan Pariwara for 45,000 laptop units and Dragon Computer and Communications for 120,000 units. These contracts were obtained on 29 May and 30 May 2021. Zarexindo Corporate Secretary Evan Jordan said that the contract had positive impact on Zarex's revenue. According to previous reports, Zarexindo has prepared around 165,000 units of laptops, which will be distributed for government programs in the government sector until September, and can prepare another 135,000 units until November 2021. To be able to participate in the laptop procurement projects in the field of education, there are conditions stipulated in the Presidential Regulation Number 12 of 2021, Article 66 and Article 67. In this case, domestic content level of local product that reaches 40%, the product that must be used by government agencies or ministries. The Zarexindo brand laptop manufacturer has not yet reported financial reports for the first semester of 2021. However, by the first quarter of 2021, Zarexindo reported a net income of 52.52 billion rupiah, a decrease of 50.35% from sales realizations in the same period in the previous year, which reached 105.77 billion rupiah. IDX Channel report.
Nickel producer Timah with stock code TINS plans to repurchase debt securities or sukuk. Such plan needs a maximum of 1.3 trillion rupiah of fund.
Nickel producer Timah with stock code TINS plans to repurchase debt securities or sukuk. To realize the plan, the state-owned company estimates that it will need a maximum of 1.3 trillion of fund. Based on the disclosure of information provided by the company, TINS is planning to repurchase some series of its debt securities. For the 2017 TIMA first phase of sustainable bonds, TINS will be repurchased of a maximum of 720 billion rupiah or 100% of the total amount owed. Meanwhile, for the Sustainable Sukuk Ijarah 1 TIMA Phase 1 Year 2017 Series B, the company will buy back a maximum of 387 billion rupiah or equivalent to 100% of the total amount owed. Therefore, the maximum protection fund will be used for the e-bills repurchase is a maximum of 1.3 trillion. Director of Finance and Risk Management TIMA Wibowo said the source of the funds for the e-bills repurchase would come from bank loans. Until the disclosure of information is published, TINS has sufficient working capital to finance business activities and fund the buyback. IDX Channel reports.
Step aside from market condition as coronavirus pandemic takes big role in current economic situation. And here it is, an update data about coronavirus globally. And the news close our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, Your Trustworthy Economic, Business and Capital Market Channel. And as the pandemic of COVID-19 still going on, keep protecting your family by following the health protocols, wearing face masks, keep your distance and stay away from crowds, wash your hands through running water, and also continue to support the vaccination program to accelerate the creation of herd immunity. I'm Wicky Adrian. Have a nice evening and stay safe.